Got It on the Couch, the show that goes for a swim in Lake Housemate on a weekly basis. And boy, is Lake Housemate getting deeper and murkier by the minute. Shawnee's out. Liam won £100,000. Now everyone fancies him, even me. And Ziggy and Chanel, well, it's on, off, on, off, on, off. I just can't keep up. But it all means that there is plenty to talk about tonight. What do the housemates really think of Liam winning all that cash? We get to the truth of the matter by the power of body language.
I couldn't think of one person out there that I think that money should have went to more than Liam. For the fact, he's just such a nice guy, you know?
Ziggy versus Chanel versus Billy, plus Nikki versus Liam versus Charlie. What's really going on in the housemate love triangles? Coming up.
We slept around.
I enjoyed it, but...
Plus the psychology of being a housemate. How the deals, the fame and life beyond Big Brother is influencing some of the housemates' every move.
There is also the carrot of fame dangling in front of all of us, you know.
And we test the housemates with our psych experiment number 2. More in-depth psychoanalysis from the heart of the Big Brother house.
As a water bottle, as a disposable water bottle, a lot of people come and suck from your bottle.
That'll keep you watching, won't it? All that coming up, but first, let's take a look back at the week that witnessed Big Brother's first ever breakup and makeup. Here you go.
Shit.
Oh, but it is.
Housemates, in the diary room is £100,000.
What?
I'm freaking out. What's going on, you lot?
Would Carol, Jonathan and Shawnee come to the diary room?
Okay, I don't know what is going on, actually.
Tonight, just one housemate will receive this money.
What?
But it won't be any of you.
Blimey, no.
However, the 3 of you will decide which of the remaining housemates will receive this money.
That's mental.
Could do Ziggy.
Who else?
do
I'm
Liam.
just trying. Liam, actually. Liam. I could do Liam.
Yeah.
We decided.
Yep.
You've decided.
We decided.
Chosen Liam.
Son, you deserve it. You're good. Come in. I'm really overwhelmed by what's happened now. Overjoyed.
I love you, baby. I love you, baby.
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, harder.
Charlie's out there flirting with him now. Better get my ass out there.
Look at these two. Bloody Mary Ann's mortal.
Charlie will change again now.
Yeah, she will. Fight on with me and Nikki. She likes Liam. 3/4 lengths or denims? Denims. Get the denims.
This?
Dark denims. Bring them on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can be arsed with it, really.
Yeah.
You know, I like Chanel, but she is a lot younger than me.
Can you treat
So what do you do?
People have been talking and saying that they think you fancy Billy or some of the ones of that. And I'm not going to believe it, whatever, or I don't know whether to. And a few people have said it. No, I'm not going to say. No,
Why?
They don't think that it's not her. It's a few people have said it. If there's something there, then we carry on after. But I'm not going to get you out in this show, and I don't want to be out in this show. And simple as. And if you still feel the same way, which I'm sure I will after this, then we see what happens after. But if things change, then they change. What, babe?
Don't come in bed, please.
Let's carry it on. We'll part the fun of it.
It's Welshie.
Yay! It was Welshie.
I can now reveal that the third person to be evicted from the Big Brother house is Shawnee.
Can't believe it.
Why did you say this?
I can't believe it.
Can I just tell you something quite funny? Is in that we both said, what did Chanel just say? And she said, don't call me babe, please. But I said to Judy that, and she thought that I was saying it to her, so she was like, all right, sorry.
No, I didn't.
Anyway, so on the surface, all the housemates are saying that they're pleased that Liam won the prize fund, but is their body language telling a totally different story? And here to tell us the truth is behaviour expert Judy James. Now, Judy, Liam won. Liam won what the housemates thought was the prize fund. How is that going to affect their behaviour and their attitudes towards him?
I think initially we all saw it made him more popular, didn't it? And this is what's known as the Oscar syndrome. When you watch people at the Oscars, when you watch the nominees, they always have to look really pleased that another person won.
Yes.
And I think that's what they were doing here. It was kind of, it makes them feel better. And I think they almost felt they colluded in it. It was as though they'd given him the award and the money. They'd allowed him to have the money. So they were feeling quite generous.
They were feeling quite good about themselves.
Yeah, quite big and quite good about themselves. And obviously it wouldn't look good to sort of look bitter about the whole thing. I think there's going to be a bit of a slow burn of resentment going on here, though, because it's a bit like when you give somebody a big present or you loan them a lot of money. Initially you feel quite generous, then after a while, and maybe it's just me, you start to feel slightly resentful.
No, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, and then in the end you end up getting into a state that's known as aggressive ownership, where you're kind of watching every penny they spend or if they're nasty to you and things like that. So you almost feel that you own that person. They've got to be really well behaved.
So Liam owes you. Liam owes them, doesn't he? So Big Brother put a series of questions to the housemates about how they felt about Liam winning what is believed to be the prize fund. And you're going to analyse their body language for us. Now, we're going to kick off with Charlie. Charlie. In the diary room. And Big Brother has just asked Charlie what she thinks of Liam winning the money.
I think I should have won it. I mean, I am joking, Big Brother. I think it's amazing. Do you know that? I think they couldn't have chose someone. I think they couldn't have chose a better person. I couldn't think of one person out there that I think that money should have went to more than Liam. For the fact he's just such a nice guy, you know.
You know, funny, I think most of the audience here might pick up what that action was.
Do you think?
Yes.
It was
amazing.
She meant it?
What's she doing?
It's leakage. It's incongruent. Now, she's got a problem. Yeah, she's leaking.
Love that. She's leaking all over the place.
It's a plastic chair, so she's all right. She's got a big problem because she's intrinsically very honest. You know, she prides herself on speaking her mind. And what she's having to do here is to prepare this kind of mask of, oh, I'm so delighted for him. And she uses two techniques. First of all, she does this, what's called an expulsion of the truth. It almost bursts out of her, where she uses the S word. And
we all went, yeah, that's what she's really
That's what she's really thinking. Yeah. But, you know, it gets it off her face, and then she can put the mask on. But she's still struggling when she's masking. Now, because she's so honest, it's a real build-up of tension for her. And that's what emerges in this leakage with the hand gesture.
It's kind of quite manic. Can we have another look? Look.
I think I should have won it. I mean, I am joking, Big Brother. I think it's amazing. Do you know that? I think they couldn't have chose someone. I think they couldn't have chose a better person. I couldn't think of one person out there that I think that money should have went to more than Liam. For the fact he's just such a nice guy, you know.
That's alarming.
16 times. It's a wonder she has skin left on her lips, really. It's got a dual purpose for her. Firstly, it kind of corrects her speech. It's almost as though she's not allowing the truth to leak out. And the other thing is that it's almost, you know, when children lie, they know their parents are going to recognise the lie, so they face cover.
Yes.
And she obviously can't sit there like that, but this is a partial face cover, so it's hiding the truth as well.
She's basically not telling us the truth. She's telling porkies. OK, let's have a look and see what Nikki really thought of Liam winning.
Obviously, Liam winning the money, well, it would have been a highlight whoever had received the money.
Extraordinary. You know, watching that, even without knowing what on earth is going on, what is extraordinary? That's quite bizarre. She's in the middle of a sentence, she whistles and she farts. What's going on? What's happening?
She's what she starts off by doing is a poker face. Now, what she does is she does what a lot of people do when they're not telling the truth. She doesn't move, and that means you're not actually allowing your body language to give you away. So you kind of gag yourself physically. But again, this causes a lot of inner pressure because lying, it causes loads of pressure and stress. And it has to emerge. It's a bit like a kettle boiling up and all the steam coming out.
So she's literally whistling like a boiling kettle.
You know, a lot of people kind of puff when they're stressed. But she's like... But then we've got the best bit, which is the raspberry. I mean, it's wonderful. Which, as we know, is mimicking a certain bodily function and showing what she thinks of the fact that he's won the money.
Oh, you'd think she'd be happy, of all people. Anyway, OK, let's have a look at Jerry.
There was no possibility in my mind that I could have been the winner, so I'm not missing it. It didn't affect me at all. I thought it was quite funny that the money was on television for us to see. I really cannot guess who was disappointed about the money being lost. Some people might have been, not me. I can categorically say that because I never thought I'm the kind of person who has the mass appeal in the public and becomes a winner of this huge game show. But now it's not a game show.
What's happening there? What's happening there?
He says, I cannot guess who would not be disappointed at losing the money. And his finger actually gives us the answer. It's absolutely fascinating. Look who he's pointing to. Me, I would be the one. This is called the finger of truth. So although he's saying one thing, who would miss the money? He thinks he should get it. He's actually giving us the answer. Yeah, pointing to himself. The biggest giveaway you can get. It's not even leakage, that's just
floodage. And anything else we should be looking out for?
Well,
Terry?
also, I mean, he's a gesticulator by nature, but his gestures become what's called overcongruent. And when we really want to be convincing, he's using this emblem gesture. Now, they're normally used instead of speech, so we use them to signal to people, but he's using it with speech, so it's kind of over-egging the point. And when he uses his hands, he uses both fingers. Now, this is employing both sides of the brain. It's quite unusual to use both fingers.
My husband does that when he dances.
I'd better be careful what I say now, then, hadn't I?
Yeah.
But generally, it's politicians when they really want to make a point.
Asserting themselves.
Very much asserting
and they're
themselves.
not telling the truth?
In your husband's case, that's not true, but in everybody else, yes.
OK, so anything else to look out for?
I think really it's just watching for all of the different signs coming out. You know, I think they're all saying, I don't care, I'm really glad he's got the money, but I think, you know, he needs to watch his back.
So is anybody happy for him at all?
I don't think so. I don't think it would be natural for them to be happy because this is their prize money after all.
I suppose, yeah.
But, you know, as I say, they're all saying they are, but there's some leakage coming out that is actually very suppressed. There's aggression, there's resentments.
So he's got to watch his back.
He's got to watch his back in future.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Liam. Still to come, proper sciencey psychoanalysis of the housemates. Scary stuff. I'll see you in a bit. OK, welcome back. You are watching Big Brother on the Couch. Now, throughout the series, we're going to be running psychological experiments on our housemates, and they're designed to tap into their inner thoughts and feelings. And on Friday, Big Brother ran experiment number 2, which was devised by Cecilia De Felici. Hi, Cecilia, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So tell us a bit about the experiment.
Well, what we did was we got all the housemates to find an object in the house that they thought best symbolised or represented themselves. And they had to show this object to the other housemates and hear what the other housemates had to say about it. And then at the end, they got to say why they'd chosen that object.
And so what was it designed to reveal?
Well, we wanted to get, again, inside their minds a little bit more, find out what was really going on. And by choosing an object, it's kind of like saying, OK, I think says a little bit about me, but it also got us a chance to see what the other housemates thought of that and whether those actually matched, whether they were congruent, in other words.
And some of them were very honest, weren't they? And quite... Anyway, we're going to focus on Ziggy and Billy tonight. The clash of the titans. So let's kick off with Ziggy's presentation. So he chose a water bottle like this, which was from the swimming task, wasn't it? As the object that represents him. So let's have a quick look.
The water bottle that they give us with our names on.
A water bottle?
That they give, yeah, you know, the bottles with our names on.
Yeah.
It literally is, it's a water bottle, we all have one, so it means I'm part of a team. And at the end of the day, you know, we may argue and stuff, but we've all, the task is important to me, because it means we eat all very well. It reminds me of keeping fit. It's a sports bottle, so you've got the sports top. Reminds me of who I am. I see my name on it and my progress to get into this house.
It must be quite uncomfortable trying to sort of talk about yourself. It does seem like he's trying to reveal something about himself there. Is that what you think?
Well, Ziggy's really struggling with this. Before the task starts, he said, look, we don't need to take much time over this. You don't need to say very much about me. And it's almost like he's trying to disappear. He doesn't even have the bottle. He doesn't even have the object.
So he doesn't physically have it because they've taken it away because it was part of the task?
Absolutely.
So he's using something that's not even there?
Not even there. And it's very much, it feels to me like he's had a really bad week. He feels very low, very depleted, like he's running running out of resources very quickly, and his bottle's invisible. It's like he's invisible. He's fading out of there. He doesn't want the attention on him.
It's
see-through.
invisible.
It's transparent, and
Yeah.
all of that. And what's interesting about it is that we know that he's under attack at the moment. You know, Billy's come in, and he's definitely making a play for Chanel, and Ziggy's feeling really guilty about all of that Chanel business. He's not really sure why he's in it at all. He keeps going on about how she's younger than him. He's very uncertain. Also, he's got another problem, which is that he's been in that house with all of those women, being the good guy for such a long time, and he attaches himself to Chanel. He needs a good object. He needs somebody good to be with in order to get through all of that. And it feels like he might be losing that. And Liam comes in. He's only been there for a few hours, and he gets 100 grand for being the nice guy. And Ziggy's thinking, hang on, I've been a nice guy.
I was a nice guy.
And
But I
weeks and
suppose
weeks.
they looked at it. They looked at it that Ziggy doesn't need the money, you know, and
Well,
that Liam.
Possibly.
I mean, not that Liam necessarily needs the money, but that's how it was perceived.
But Jonathan says something very interesting. He says about the bottle, look, you are giving out all the time with this. You're always filling up other people's bottles. People are always coming to you to drink out of your bottle, and you're not getting anything back from anybody else. And Chanel says, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, every night he comes to bed, he's drinking out of his bottle. And I think that's her saying he's getting some nurturing from me.
That she's filling Ziggy's
She's
bottle
filling
at night.
his bottle at night.
Steady on.
And when we look at the bottle, it's really interesting because this is a bottle which has got a little
got a teat
on it, and you're going. Now, what does that remind you of? He's sucking on something that's trying to give him something back. Now, psychoanalysts would call this a good breast. Kleinians would call this a good breast. Attachment theorists would call this a secure object, a secure base. And what we know about Ziggy is he really needs to have a secure attachment. And if he loses Chanel,
he won't have one anymore.
And he could walk. He's very unhappy.
Importantly, let's have a look and see what Billy thought about Ziggy's representation.
That's right.
Thank you. Of himself as a bottle.
It's very exciting, this.
I've actually personally been waiting for this one for the most. I find Ziggy to be possibly the biggest enigma in the house. I think it's easy to know someone, but I don't think it's easy to be understood. I think the water bottle is a massive deflection because it's so see-through, and you're not at all.
Okay, can you just... What's going on there? What's going on there? I thought, is that nice?
It's not nice. What's going on here is that Billy's taking Ziggy on, and he's making this very explicit attack on Ziggy's integrity. He's saying, you're an enigma, we can't see through you. Now, this is coming from a guy who's got these massive shades on, who's got hair all over his face. Who's the enigma here? So what we would say that this is a projection. This is about Billy projecting onto Ziggy a part of himself he wants to disown. He doesn't want to reveal himself to the other people on the house. But what he's also doing is he's undermining Ziggy. He's saying, come on, you're hiding from us.
And funny enough, that is what Chanel thinks. She thinks he's being a bit two-faced, doesn't she, at times? OK, well, let's have a look at Billy and analyse him and see what his object was.
It's my sunglasses. I would wear sunglasses a lot of the time. I definitely would like everybody to believe 100% everything that comes from my mouth, and the eyes will leave speculation, and I don't want it. Slutsy.
OK. So, firstly, let's just talk about Billy's representation of himself. His sunglasses. What's that saying?
Right, well, it's very interesting because Jerry has a very good point. Jerry's a great psychologist in the house. He's like Jonathan. He's got lots of insights. And he says, look, you're putting up a barrier. We can't get to you. You're making us come to you. You're not coming out to us. But Jerry also says, you've watched 7 Big Brothers back-to-back before coming into this house, and you're definitely playing a game. And we know that there's something quite Machiavellian about Billy. There's something about this is a game of chess for him, and I'm wondering if Chanel's a bit of a pawn in this game.
So you don't think that his affections are real? It's just a sort of using her to wind up Ziggy, or...?
Well, it's very interesting because if we have a look at the board that he's holding up, when he first goes, we got that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. When we first asked him to do this, the first thing he did was draw on his board Chanel's rabbit. This is Chanel's rabbit.
Chanel's rabbit.
Yeah. And then he changes his mind and he goes for the sunglasses and all of that.
So he was going to use Chanel's rabbit as his object.
Absolutely. Now, what we might say is that this is an appropriation. He's saying, I'm taking a bit of Chanel and I'm going to have her for myself. Then he embellishes. Well, yeah, he embellishes this bunny rabbit and he calls it slutsy. Whoa!
What's he trying to say with that?
Well, I think, again, he's appropriated Chanel. He's sexualised this rabbit. He's calling it slutsy. He's objectifying, in other words, Chanel. And what he's doing it right under Ziggy's nose.
And he's parading that picture. Look, isn't it? He's kind of showing it off.
He is so parading that picture.
So listen, I'm not seeing good things for Billy and Ziggy's relationship in the future.
This is a real tricky one because, in fact, in many ways, they're very alike, and you would have thought that they could be friends. But the problem is that now the money's gone, Chanel is the big prize, and Billy is definitely after that prize. And unless Ziggy fights for her, their relationship's been so rocky this week. Unless Billy fights for her,
she's got to fight for her.
What's going to happen?
He's got to.
What's going to happen?
I don't know. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, brilliant. Still to come, who will reign supreme in the Big Brother love triangles? Will Billy ever find his true love? Does Nikki stand a chance with Liam? And what does the future hold for Chanel and Ziggy? I'm going to the next part to find out. Welcome back to Big Brother on the Couch. Now, no one, and I mean no one, loves a romance more than I do, honestly. But quite frankly, I just can't keep up with the comings and goings of love in this year's Big Brother house. I mean, who's zooming who?
Love is in the air, everywhere I look around. Love is in the air, everywhere I look around.
I've got my tongue in his mouth.
Did you?
And he loved it.
I think there might be a couple more sort of romancy type things going on.
I'll tell you fancies you, Nikki.
Everyone in the garden keeps being like, oh, Amanda likes Billy, Amanda likes Phil and all this.
I actually sort of thought he might fancy Amanda.
Yeah, apparently it does.
I really can't decide what twin I like better.
Brian and
Billy.
Billy both fancy Amanda.
And then they're like, oh, there's love in the air with Amanda and Billy. I'm just like, what the hell?
Brian fancies you, Amanda.
Oh, shut up, the wire.
OK, so let me get this right? OK, Brian fancies Amanda, who fancies Billy, who fancies Chanel, who, quite frankly, I'm not sure who she fancies now, so I'm a bit confused. So here to help us unravel this tangly love web is psychologist Tomasz Chamorro-Premuzic. So, Thomas, Ziggy, Chanel and Billy, what's going on?
Well, it's a very interesting triangle there. It's a very strategic triangle, a very strategic relationship. We have Billy, who, as we predicted last week, is interfering in that relationship. We don't know whether it's true love, true attraction, true seduction.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's definitely Ziggy reacted very well in the beginning, pulling out and blaming Billy for basically his breakup with Chanel. That would have made him look like a victim and made him very, very popular. He could have stayed single and be very popular with the audience. But then he faces a dilemma because he wants to compete with Billy, so that's why I think we're seeing them on and off all the time.
But so you don't think Ziggy fancies Chanel for real? You think she's more of a status symbol in the house?
Yes, I think she is a status symbol in the house, and we have two people competing for her who are good-looking, but also incredibly similar psychologically. We checked their test profiles, and there's 95% of similarity, which means they are more similar to each other than the twins.
You're kidding me.
It's incredible. It's like they are psychologically twins. So
if a viewer out there likes Ziggy, then they have to like Billy as well, because they're very similar.
Or if they decided to play a game with Ziggy, they might decide to, bring Billy into the game because he's as Machiavellian, as clever, and as willing to engage in this kind of triangle.
OK. Well, how do you think Ziggy's coping with it all?
I think well, it changes all the time. It's analyzing this is like hitting at a moving target. I think he has a dilemma. He knows what he should be doing, which is just let them go, but he can't let them go because it's too competitive.
Does Chanel fancy Billy?
I don't think she does, but she pretends to because she needs to find out a new story, basically.
But can we just talk through the shower? I mean, what's happening there? Like, hello?
Yeah.
She must fancy him a bit. You wouldn't get into a shower with another bloke when you're supposed to be seeing another bloke if you didn't have this hot
Yeah,
stuff
possibly.
slightly.
I mean, there certainly seems to be some attraction, but what does she want to get out of it? I think another story. She wants to be in the limelight, basically.
Do you think she's going to stay with Ziggy?
No, I think they're gonna basically break up, but stay friends, because otherwise it will reflect badly on themselves. It would show that it's either not real or that it would make the other person a victim, basically.
Okay, let's move on to another triangle.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Charlie, Nikki, and Liam. Fantastic the other night, absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look.
Going into the Big Brother house, huh?
So you're tight then, Charlie?
Not quite. No. I can work on it. What's yours like?
Nikki's bags at him.
This house is going to change drastically and it's going to be really good.
I think Liam's the best looking.
Is Liam single? Has he got a girlfriend?
25 you, no way.
We slept around.
I enjoyed it and that, but it's
Do you actually fancy him?
Yeah. Do you?
No, just because I had a shower with him. Charlie's out there flirting with him now. I better get my ass out there.
Charlie, just put him away, Charlie. Say, put him away.
Check out Nikki outside me. No.
Oh, she was so blatant. I mean, brilliantly blatant that night, wasn't she, Charlie? But it was a competition. It wasn't even so much about Liam, was it?
Yeah, correct. And this is a less sophisticated and less intellectual triangle, basically. I think it's more emotional, more impulsive, and a very blatant approach. I think, Charlie still has something to prove in the house. She's been underperforming with guys, and there you go. We've seen just now the sexual tornado on Liam. But Liam is very emotionally intelligent, very able to control his impulses. So
yeah, but he's quite impressed with Charlie. He did say she's tidy. I'm assuming tidy was meaning fit.
Well, I wouldn't know, Davina. I'm not from here,
yes,
so I wouldn't know.
It's a new word for you to take with you today.
Thank you.
Yes.
We learn something every day. I think we can compare Nikki and Charlie. They're not as similar as Siggy and Billy, but they overlap in their sort of negative traits. They're both quite emotionally unstable, quite neurotic, quite insecure. So I think they like Liam because he's emotionally balanced and down to earth, so he's a positive influence on them.
I think Nikki's coming from a real place, though. I think she really does fancy. She says, she stands there and whispers, this is man-hater Nikki. She stands there and goes, marry me.
It's possibly the opposite to the other triangle in that they probably do fancy each other, but they have to repress this because it would have a negative impact on Liam. I mean, he has nothing to win with her. He's in a great situation at the moment, got the money. Chanel is keeping Billy and Ziggy busy, so he has the attention for the other girl. It's risky to go for Nikki.
Do you think he does fancy Nikki at all?
I think he probably likes her, and Nikki is getting good feedback. And for her, is a great chance to show that, because she's at the moment in this no man's land. She doesn't belong to the not very attractive women in the house. She doesn't belong to the pretty manhunter.
I remember your chart.
That's it, 3 weeks ago. So she wants an upgrade into the pretty group, and Liam is a very good opportunity for that.
He's the doorway in.
It is.
So listen, what do you think Nikki can do to make him fancy her? Is there anything?
I think she has to definitely avoid Charlie's approach, be more subtle, be friendly and tempting. And I think it's good for them if they flirt, but they don't commit to spending 2 or 3 or even 4 weeks together as boyfriend and girlfriend, because that would impact negatively on both.
Do you know, I think that little piece of advice would be quite good to any girls going out. Stand back, don't be too outrageous, don't be too outgoing. Not the scarf round the thing with the belt. No, don't do it. OK, do you think that Liam and Nikki are ever going to get it together?
Not in the house. I think maybe after
not
that.
Your advice, would it? Because it wouldn't be good for the public's
It might help
opinion.
Nikki a little bit, although it might make girls jealous.
OK, Brian and Amanda.
Yeah, that's a different one. That's a different one.
Have you got a little...
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't let you go without another little board.
I spent a lot of time, actually, trying to analyze,
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say...
It's a different one. I mean, we've analyzed the previous 2 triangles. Now, this one, the first thing to say is that it's the first time that we see one of the twins doing something that the other one is not doing.
Yes.
So maybe Amanda, who is the more dominant twin, is trying to, basically increase her individuality and her, become an item, not half. Now, the other two, what do they have in mind? And we looked at the test, we tried to look at their profiles, we tried to analyze footage. I mean, what we thought is that what they have in mind for them, well, for Brian, basically, it's Amanda, but it could be any of them.
I love him. He's just, he'll have anyone, won't he?
And Billy,
He's brilliant. Brilliant.
Billy, I don't think, and we couldn't fit more people here, more women. But anyway, and for Billy, I think this
it's
is what
him.
is in his head. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much to Thomas. Thank you. Bless Billy. He'll take anyone. He'll take anyone. After the break, how starring in a reality TV show in the year 2007 totally affects your game plan. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to Big Brother on the Couch. Now, back in the year 1999, a Dutch gentleman called John de Mol invented a TV show called Big Brother. Now, in olden times, it was widely defined as a social experiment. These days, many housemates see it simply as a fast track to fame and fortune.
What are you here for? Fame? No. Yeah. I am, and I'm not going to deny that.
Talking about getting recognised.
Yeah, it's going to be really weird, isn't it?
There is also the carrot of fame dangling in front of all of us,
Tomorrow our picture's going to be all in the papers. You've got to think about what the headlines are going to say.
Who would do, like, an FHM shoot?
Yeah, definitely.
I think I understand the twins now, what that's about.
And girly, don't you think?
They're after more fame and fortune than experience.
They're the slickest marketing machine in here.
I can imagine it being Sam and Amanda dolls by Christmas.
I'd like to be the manager, please.
OK, joining me now to talk about the psychology of being a housemate, a psychotherapist, Rachel Morris, and columnist from The Independent, Johan Hari. OK, so why are the housemates so obsessed with life beyond the programme?
Well, they don't go in to be housemates. They go in to transform their lives after they've been in the house. The reason why they put up with all the being constantly monitored, all the invasion of privacy, all the kind of misery of it, is because they're constantly picturing what happens next. And they have a, frankly, delusional picture.
Yeah,
where
do.
They think of the three Big Brother housemates who've really gone on to become successful in an enduring way. Brian, Kate and Jade, although Jade obviously imploded somewhat.
She had a fall from grace.
Yeah, exactly, as you remember better than most people. They picture that and they imagine that that's typical. Actually, that's really atypical.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened to so few people, but I suppose what happens is that you go in there thinking that you're a winner. You're going to go in there thinking, well, I'm going to be the one person from this series that's going to make a fortune.
I think that's true, and they also have a bizarre idea about what celebrity is. If you look at someone like Chanel, who's a nice person, she has a picture of almost religious view of celebrity. It's like you ascend to heaven. There's one magical day when you click your fingers, you are a celebrity, and from that point on, you are blissful and happily live ever after.
But we know she's come from quite a troubled place now.
Definitely.
Do you think she's trying to sort of fill her spiritual gap with celebrity?
Definitely.
That she's hoping that it will heal her?
I think all of television is filled with people who are trying to fill...
Not
apart
you,
from
Davina,
you,
no.
obviously, who's
No,
a
I'm sure I
completely
probably am.
healthy
Yes,
status
no.
of
I mean, we could be here for hours, but...
So tell me about
Yeah,
it.
so
obviously, I think that's the myth. That's the myth, that if everybody knows who you are and everybody knows your name, you'll never be lonely again.
Well,
but as anybody will tell you who's actually worked in television or become famous, that's the loneliest status.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually that awful Robbie Williams lyric, isn't there? I wouldn't be so alone if they knew my name in every home.
Yes.
That is the celebrity delusion, and it's completely
What the fuck,
wrong.
you know you're Robbie
I
Williams.
know,
Yeah.
okay.
OK, now listen...
I'll start singing Angel in a minute.
Stop. Every single housemate is given what we call in Big Brother the talk of doom. It's spectacular. It's real doom and gloom stuff. And it's basically warning our housemates of the pitfalls of being on the show. So let's have a look at this in progress.
I'm just going to talk to you now about some of the downsides of Big Brother.
OK.
Life in the house is quite difficult. It's a small space. There's cameras everywhere. They're in the toilets, they're in the showers. You'll be living with people that you don't necessarily get on with. There's no diversion, there's no escape, and that's intense. There's no way to go.
that fun.
At the end of the day, it's an unpopularity contest. You might be nominated every week. If you get evicted, that's the public judging you on your personality.
You may be loved, of course, but you may also be hated.
If you go into that Big Brother house thinking this is your ticket to fame, you'll be disappointed. If you're going into it thinking that you're going to be rich, that you're going to become a TV presenter, have a career in the media, that ain't happening. Now's the time for you to think about the impact it would have on your life.
People feel they have the right to talk to you whenever they want, or whisper behind your back or say horrible things to you.
Anything that you've got in your life that you would rather remain private, there's a chance that that's going to come out in the tabloids.
Do you know what, like, I'm not being funny, I don't give a damn what comes out, because it's my life at the end of the day, do you know what I mean?
I wonder why she became a housemate. You know, already giving it lip. Chanel almost looked there to me, Rachel, as if she was sort of going, yeah, whatever, that won't be me.
Absolutely. Well, it's selective perception. As human beings, there is so much information around us all the time. We have to filter it. So we filter through it so that we only pick up the things that we think apply to us. So when we were listening to the producers saying things like, you won't be famous and you won't be rich, they just heard, blah, blah, famous, blah, blah, rich. They just heard that, you know, because that applies to me.
It's like the adults in Charlie Brown. You know,
yeah, exactly.
My man.
Yeah, or the dog in, I was thinking of the dog, blah, 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 dinner, blah, 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 walkies. So I think that that's what's happening here, is they're filtering it through. The Big Brother producers, I know for a fact, they really hammer this stuff home.
And they give them a piece of paper as well at the end of it,
They have to sign things with their families, because they're not even trusted to read it by themselves. You know, they're given every opportunity to be frightened by what the possibilities are. But all they really hear, I believe, is the rich, famous...
And so, OK, so the rich part for some of them has gone because the prize money, they think, has gone now. So they're just left with the fame side of things.
I think that's wrong. I think people don't play for the prize fund. If you're looking at it in a financial sense, if you're going to Big Brother to make money, it's worth bearing in mind the housemate who made by far the most money out of Big Brother was Jade. She didn't get anywhere near the prize fund. She came fourth in the series she was on. So if
yes, that's true. You don't make as much if you win.
Exactly. There are two ways for a housemate on Big Brother to make money. There's basically the initial flurry as soon as they leave the house. That's a one-off thing. It never happens again in your life. And you will get a burst of money. Some of them will get a very big burst of money, like the twins, because they have a huge market for lads' mags and so on. Some will have a smaller, but still, you know, someone will offer Carol some money to talk, you know. I don't think she's going to be getting an FHM contract. But, you know, maybe she will, I don't know. No, I think one of the papers will offer her 500 quid to, you know, talk about cleaning products. But the other way to make money...
You were just mean.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to be nasty about Carol. I like her.
I like her.
Oh. But the other way of making money is to actually leapfrog, use Big Brother to leapfrog through into a sustainable career. Actually, that is much harder to do. Sometimes they can become TV presenters, like Brian Dowling. It's really hard.
Even he struggled to sort of maintain
Exactly. So that is the really big challenge, to make it actually consistently make money throughout your life.
Easier for girls than boys? Seems that all the women have made money and the guys don't...
You've got a little theory here, haven't you?
There's a structural advantage for women in that the market for...
Boobs. A structural advantage. I like that.
Yeah,
structural advantage.
Unfortunately, I almost certainly have breasts, and I'm not going to be offered any money from FHM. But no, the structural advantage is there's a lot of lads' mags who want to pay for to see women. There's not that much of a market to pay for even Ziggy, who I would quite like to see topless. There's not much of a market to show us that.
No.
So men, if they want to maximise their financial ability in the house, actually are smart to get into a pair, because men make money in couples. You look at Paul from Big Brother 3.
Paul and Helen.
Paul on his own would have made virtually nothing. Yeah.
No, you're
Paul
right.
and Helen made a lot.
OK, one of the things that really struck me this year, I'm sure you picked up on this, is the mimicking of Nikki from 2006. We've had Chanel and Charlie both doing it. Have a quick look at this.
Who is she? Who is she?
Who is she? I'm telling you!
I'm so cold! I'm so cold!
Oh, it's so cold!
Freezing! It's absolutely freezing! Oh, it's so cold!
Now, to me, Rachel, I felt that Charlie was slightly copying Nikki on purpose, but I felt Chanel was being real. What do you think?
Well, they're both very young women, and what that basically means is that in terms of sort of being behaviourally and socially skilled. They're still practising their skills, their social skills. They're still learning. So sometimes what we do when we go into a new situation is we adapt or copy somebody else's behaviour, something we've already seen successful.
It works,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so if somebody, you know, if you've seen a mate of yours be really popular by telling jokes, the next time you go out with that group, you think, oh, this is the group that really likes me when I tell jokes. So you adopt somebody else's personality. It's a bit like borrowing a coat. You try it on for size. If it works, great. If it doesn't, try another one. And as you can actually see, Charlie looked very uncomfortable.
Yes, she did.
She wasn't... You see, the difference between Nikki and Charlie, because it's Nikki's personality, it belongs to her. There was no reservation, whereas Charlie slightly holding back.
Right.
And that felt a little bit more conscious, didn't it, than, say, Chanel, who didn't look conscious at all.
Quite transparent, and us thinking that she's trying to mimic somebody that was popular before is making her more unpopular on the outside, I would imagine.
Well, what it does is it makes us insecure around her. We say, hang on, we know you're not Nikki, so who the hell are you?
Yes. Who is she?
Who is she?
Who is she?
No, you have to do it more.
No.
More.
Who is she?
Now you've got it.
Well, it feels quite good, actually, I'm saying. Climactic moaning, that's called. I learnt that before on this show, yep. OK, so media-wise, right, Johan, what advice would you give to Ziggy and Chanel?
Well, Ziggy has made a disastrous move this week. The voting public for Big Brother are overwhelmingly young women. They're going to identify with Chanel, and he's treated Chanel, I think, quite badly. Not only did he effectively dump her, he made it feel like it was her fault she was being dumped. So he was not only rejecting her, he was making her feel guilty about the rejection. That is going to go down really badly with the Big Brother voting public. I think Ziggy is just about smart enough to figure that out, and that's why he was quick to go back to Chanel. He's thinking, God, this is really not going to look good.
But that's made him look even worse, because now what he's saying is, I can mess a woman around, I can draw her in, I can chuck her away, I can draw her back in again.
But he's clever, though. He knows what they're thinking on the public are thinking. He must know that that's not a good thing to do. We won't like that, us
He's
women.
admitted that he went in with a manipulative plan. He actually said, my brother told me, and I was intending to do it, to play women off against each other.
The problem is, with any of the housemates that decide to go in with a game plan, is they don't take into consideration that they're going to get genuinely emotionally engaged with the other dynamics of the house. Nobody can plan how they're going to respond to other personalities in the house, and that's why you might go in with a game plan, but you can't actually live it one day to the next.
Who do you think is going to come out badly out of it all?
Oh, it's really hard to say. I mean, who'd have thought Nikki was going to come out of it so well at the beginning?
Yeah.
And look how well she did. I think Charlie is a bit of a secret dark horse. I think she's going to come out. She'll be the one in Heat magazine. She'll be the one with the column.
If Charlie wants to do that, though, I think she's got to study what happened with Grace last year. Grace is a model. She came out the most hated woman in Britain and managed to turn it around.
Yep.
But you do it by being incredibly repentant, saying, oh, my God, I looked at myself, I'm such a bitch, what was I doing?
I don't think
Charlie's going to do that. Exactly. Charlie's not self-aware and self-critical enough to turn around the perception of herself. So I don't think she is going to prevail.
Oh, there's a long way to go in this house.
I think
one major humiliation for her, and she could crumble. That whole exterior will crumble, and we'll see her as a very sweet and vulnerable young woman.
I think the way she crumbles is by getting angry. I think she's crumbling every day, but her crumbling comes in the form of lashing out and rage. And I'm probably the only person in Britain, including her mum, who likes her. But
No. But wait, because we talked to the audience a little bit before, and I have to say that when Charlie went in, I think that quite a few of my mates were saying, oh, no, what a nightmare. But as time's gone by, it's like Carol said the other day, what you see with Charlie is what you get. She's almost incapable of people-pleasing. She can't do it. Isn't she?
She's gone in at a level of reveal that the others are going to take a few weeks to get to. And so we start off by disliking her because she seems like she's too much. But the others will overtake that.
I know it's a bit early doors, but who do you think is going to win? Who's displaying winning potential?
I think Chanel appeals to the Big Brother voting public. She's similar to previous people who've won.
I think she's also a nice person. I think Liam at the moment is the front runner. I'd say Liam.
But we heard earlier on in the show they could have resentments building up against him because he won the money, and people might not like him.
But also, people who tend to win are people who've gone on a journey. And actually, I think the person who's going on a journey now is Nikki. Nikki is thawing.
Oh, I look forward to that.
Nikki
is really thawing. Her man-hating is melting away in the face of Liam's hotness.
She's melting. Thank you so much to Rachel and Johan. OK, that's it for tonight. More psychological analysis on the couch next week. And stay on your couch if that's what you're sitting on, because Big Brother's next on 4. And I'll see you on Friday for another eviction. Good night.
Yes, indeedy, the housemates get psyched up for a knobbly knees competition in a couple of minutes.